well, it's not happy news. It wasn't then and it isn't now. And there's a great deal of reluctance on the part of some experts to use the word. Often you'll get other diagnostic labels like
Wow.
pervasive development, pervasive developmental disorder, PDD, or here's one I really love, pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, and that's supposedly a little higher than the first one I mentioned.
Right.
What it's like? It's scary. It's overwhelming, and particularly back then, it was lonely and isolating because people didn't talk about it or know about it. Well, usually, I mean, I'm not the one who does the diagnostic testing, but there are, a lack of shared communication on the part of a toddler, slow language development, or what they call pragmatic language delays, where even if the child has words, like my daughter did, they don't use it to like share something like, look, mommy, the sky is blue, or what's that sound? And they point to the siren. That's called a shared communication when toddlers. And other things are, moodiness, volatility, rocking, hand flapping, walking on your toes. Kids on the spectrum can have all of those things, none of those things. Oh, and lack of eye contact. That's a big one, lack of eye contact.
Yeah.
So many of them have sensory defensiveness, flashing lights, loud noises, vacuum cleaners, scratchy clothing, tags in the clothing, because not one of them is across the board success that works with everybody. It's kind of like, how do I say this politely? You throw enough, what, against the wall, and you hope something sticks, and what works for one child may not work for another. I mean, and in the case of my daughter, lack of eye contact wasn't the same as lack of eye contact in somebody else, because it turned out she had something called exotropia, a weak eye muscle, which meant that she couldn't see the world three-dimensionally. Well, the misinformation, the first thing, to me, the most important piece of misinformation, which I'm hoping is starting to slowly dissipate, is the fact that just because they don't want eye contact, or they have an aversion to touch, or they scream and melt down easily, that doesn't mean they don't like people, they don't want relationships, they don't want love, they don't want connection, they don't want friendship. It does hurt their feelings when they're bullied. I mean, just because they can't express themselves appropriately or behave in a way that most of us recognize as friendly or loving doesn't mean that they don't have those feelings. So that's the biggest one. And the other thing is, the other piece of misinformation, or at least I found it to be misinformation, is, when experts tell you that your little kid will never do this, or they'll never grow up to do that, they'll never go to college, they'll never get married, they'll never. Now, maybe they're not as much in the habit of doing that as they were, 20 plus years ago when I was raising my daughter. To me, that's another piece of